Walloping Webs. The end of our first Ultimate Spider-Man arc is here. Hey guys, this is the Multiversal Archivist, happily and excitedly coming at you with another video. Our first act/arc of Ultimate Spider-Man is done, and this finale was one for the ages. I don't know how much more I could sell it other than to say it was so good. Does it change what we've come to expect out of the series? Not really. It still focuses on the relationship between Peter and the people in his life more than the action. The action is used sparingly, but in a way, I think at least, that is done really well. The confrontation/beatdown in this comic is so tremendous. It's thrilling, horrifying, and brutal in a way I really enjoyed. It's a feather on the cap for this first act. The emotional payoff at the end is everything I've wanted in a Spider-Man comic for years. You, MJ, and Peter stands are in for a real treat. I can't talk it up enough. It's an A+ for me. I loved it so much that the final panel is now my desktop picture. So, we're going to move right along and get into the nitty-gritty spoilers. Like I said, if you haven't picked it up already, you have to. It's incredible. But, this is your last warning. We're going to go right into spoilers. I got a lot I want to talk about, so don't let the door hit you on the way out. Is everyone gone? Good. Let's get into some spoilers. Issue 6 starts with Peter joining his family for breakfast. To say Peter looks rough is an understatement. He tries to pass it off as being clumsy at work, but he looks really rough. Like I got hit by a freight truck. Rough. His family wants a better explanation than that old Parker luck. The family's continued pestering causes May to blurt out the truth, or at least half the truth. Mary Jane demands an explanation from her husband. This explanation for us comes in the form of a flashback to the night before. We find our marvelous team-up staked on the rooftop opposite Fisk Towers. They watch as Fisk goes into the building and the two heroes formulate their plan of attack. They also debate codenames. Peter still doesn't have his. Wait for it. However, people have been calling Harry the Green Goblin. Harry tries not to own it, but when Peter asks what he wants his codename to be, he admits he likes the Green Goblin. I find it funny he doesn't give Peter his own nickname. After all, Spider-Man is not much of a stretch. Maybe Harry is just really bad at nicknames? Harry asks Peter if he's ever broken the law before they leap into action. Peter laments the destruction of property as they crash through the Kingpin's skylight. Just as an aside, the art in this is freaking incredible. It looks so good. Especially Peter. His costuming and coloring in this run are so good, it's almost criminal. I mean, it's certainly better than what we're getting right now in the mainstay universe. Speaking of criminals, Kingpin is waiting for them. He sarcastically comments on how not surprised he is. No surprise there that he's not surprised. And then he sarcastically comments on how not surprised he is. No surprise there. As expected, he's been watching them watching him the entire time. Hickman and his team highlight how green Peter and Harry are, how bad they are at this, as they face the Kingpin of crime. Kingpin shows off his power by mentioning how Manhattan is his, and he controls the camera feed. Peter and Harry have been watching Kingpin for a few days, so the Kingpin has been watching them. I suppose the pair should be lucky these cameras didn't have audio, since Harry was calling Peter Peter for at least a good bit of that, and I'm sure he was continuing to do that. And a confident Peter has been taking pictures of himself in his costume, as per the norm. Harry cracks wise about them being expected. Kingpin asks what they want. Harry reveals that he has bullseye when he talks about Kingpin answering to someone above him. Peter's spider sense buzzes as Kingpin makes an ominous threat, and then things come to blow as Kingpin reveals his enhanced physique. Surprise, surprise, it's a trap. Kingpin goes at them hard in what is the best action of the series so far. Peter takes a cabinet full of booze on the chest, not Peter, Harry takes a cabinet of booze on the chest, that was a typo, as Kingpin advances on our webhead. Hilariously, Peter asks Kingpin what's wrong with him. I still think Peter hasn't entirely realized what world he stepped into. He seems shocked that Kingpin would try and hurt Harry or even kill him. Peter and Kingpin start throwing down as Kingpin reveals he wants to kill them. Harry gets back up and rejoins the fight. He blasts Kingpin in the back and gives him a green goblin grenade as a follow-up. The explosion and the fire burn out Kingpin's suit and reveal his embedded exoskeleton. This is just like Bullseye. Kingpin reveals these enhancements as new before steamrolling into Harry. Harry's helmet breaks, revealing at least one of his eyes. He says, "Oh God," as Kingpin looms over him. Kingpin taunts him and hints that he's about to die. He says Harry's alone, but we know that's not true. Peter swings in and throws in a light quip. He's still very green though, which I still find very funny. It's funny because the OG Ultimate made Peter much more capable at the start, at least when it came to the quips. This Peter doesn't have that. He distracts Kingpin for all of 10 seconds before Kingpin grabs him, slams him into the ground, and starts giving him the beatdown of his life. It is brutal. Peter and Harry are lucky to escape. They use Harry's Goblin Glider to cover their retreat. The Goblin Glider is packing some serious heat. It blows a sizable hole in Kingpin's office and gives them the space they need to limp out of there bruised and battered. How Harry feels about all of this is going to have to wait until the next issue. Also, just as an aside, there is no The Boys, which is really depressing. We cut back to Peter finishing the story of how Dad got his butt kicked. His words, not mine. Richard correctly points out that what Peter did was against the law. Peter reminds them that Kingpin is an evil man who has done bad things. Peter says that stopping him is kinda what he does now. May asks if he's going to fight Kingpin again, and Peter poses his yes as more of a question than an answer. We get the sense that he still hasn't decided what he will do about the hero thing. I feel that in this sense, he looks over at his wife to see what she thinks of all this, to get her blessing or her assurance that this is the right path. Mary Jane says right, but asks if he and the rest of the family are safe. Peter assures them that they are, and reminds the family that they must keep it a secret. May throws Peter under the bus by revealing she's known for 4 whole months. Her words, not mine. Richard says it's okay, but we can't be sure he's entirely okay with it. Not at this point, at least. Peter does apologize for it. He doesn't try and make too many excuses for it. Peter sends the kids off to bed, which means it was breakfast, not dinner, over at the Parker household. May is happy as clams about it, but smart Richard comments that he has more questions. Then he also asks his dad to be careful. And now we come to the glorious crux of the issue. As Peter and Mary Jane head into the bedroom and have a personal talk. They both are dressed fabulously, especially our girl MJ. Peter asks if Mary Jane is mad, and she reveals that she isn't. She comments on how things make more sense now. She says she wished he had told her sooner, but then reveals her overriding emotion is pride. She's proud of Peter, or at least 40% proud. Of course, Mary Jane being Mary Jane, she wants to see the suit. Her husband correctly guesses that would be the case. One flash of MJ's bedroom eyes later sees him suiting up as Spider-Man in front of her. There is some absolutely sexy ogling on Mary Jane's part as she circles him. She teases him about a little spider before proclaiming that she can't wait to see him in action. Mary Jane asks Peter what she should call him. He admits he has no idea and that it came up recently. He asks Mary Jane, who, as we all know, is a PR specialist and whiz, if she could come up with a code name for him. She teases that she's expensive, and Peter proclaims he's desperate. He asks if she's got any ideas as we close out the issue. Isn't it obvious? You're Spider-Man. Holy flapjacks. That line turns this run into a 10 out of 10 alone. I joke, but the meme for How to Train Your Dragons has never been more on point. It is as beautiful as the day I lost it. Mary Jane and Peter Parker swinging through the city together with Peter in his suit is the perfect cherry on top of a mouth-watering sundae. I don't know how we got so lucky, but I've never been more sure that Ultimate Spider-Man comics are in good hands. It's so good, and I can't... It's an incredible... It looks so good, illustrated as well. I mean, again, it's not the most action-y of series, but it is a good Peter Parker series. But anyways, that's it for this issue. Again, I can't praise it enough. It's everything I could have wanted in a last act issue and then some. I'm breathlessly waiting for the next one. It can't come fast enough. However, I believe we'll have to be patient and wait, but I don't think another issue comes out till September, which is just depressing. If it's sooner, I'll let you guys know. For now, I hope you have all had a fantastic and spiderific day. This has been the Multiversal Archivist. Keep calm and don't let the dominatrix nuns of Kligax 77 invite you onto their prayer ship.